Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we are going to discuss an astrological transit that has quietly been sneaking up on us. As Neptune in Pisces reaches 27 degrees, which first happens May 2023, and squares the Galactic Center, which is currently at 27 degrees 11 minutes of Sagittarius. And this square is quite interesting in its energetics, in its dynamics, and we're going to discuss that in today's show. The square lasts until early 2025, and that's because of how slowly Neptune moves. Neptune typically covers maybe 3, maybe 4 degrees in a calendar year and basically sweeps back and forth over those degree points. So as we see this Neptune in Pisces at 27 degrees moving back and forth across this point, it's interacting directly with the Galactic Center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. And so this is significant in terms of how our galaxy is evolving, but more precisely how our planet, how our consciousness, and how we as energetic beings are also evolving, as well as really feeling these energies, often at a more soft, gentle level of our being, especially with Neptune, where it can feel like you're just sensing the evolution or the things that are shifting and changing, and it can be very hard to describe. That's very much how Neptune in Pisces has been working with us since 2011, is that Pisces is the home energy for Neptune. So there's a natural affinity here, a natural comfort level that is also supporting our ongoing spiritual growth, our intuition, trusting ourselves, really understanding what it means to have hope and what that means in terms of our energies, how we can consciously choose to keep trusting and to keep in a place of faith amongst the changes. Also with Neptune and Pisces, there are energies that are dissolving, unraveling, things that appear to fall away, fall apart, disintegrate. And that's what this Neptune and Pisces energy signature really reveals, is how we're able to deal with changes, bigger cycles of change, things that need to be dismantled, and even feeling like all we can do is surrender. All we can do is detach and allow these bigger energies to move through us. Neptune and Pisces is the weather. It's the ocean. It's how those ocean waves come up onto the beach in their very rhythmic ebb and flow, and they bring in those bigger crashing waves while also removing and taking out to the ocean whatever was on the beach, right? So there's this ongoing dance with Neptune and Pisces that's really highlighted through the ebb and flow of the ocean. And it's also something that can be wildly inconsistent, where we could feel like there's things that just feel unreliable and we don't know what to choose, or we don't know what is reliable or what we can count on. And this is often that Neptune and Pisces crashing onto the shore and removing what we thought was stable or secure. Also asking us to remove parts of our ego, parts of our self-identity, parts of ourselves that we have outgrown and we no longer need. Neptune and Pisces can be wonderful for a deep cleanse, a deep removal of who you are not, and also understanding that that opening is a beautiful invitation from the universe to bring in more of who you are now, to allow those new downloads, those new light codes, those new energetics to show up and be what you then integrate, and how you continue to trust what is correct for you and what is calling to you now. So it's a very wobbly energy. It is difficult to feel like you can grasp onto something. It brings up our confusion. It can show us where we're looking for something to be clear and certain, but it's not. This energy of Neptune and Pisces is also propelling us to further open and expand our crown chakra, to allow ourselves to get out of our head, out of our minds, out of our sense of self, out of even what we can see and touch and experience in the physical realms, and to go higher, to see how the world is designed to continually ebb and flow. And these are parts of our journey that also invite us to trust ourselves more, to trust our intuition and what we're feeling, to give more of a focus on our intuition and what we are opening to. So there is an opening with the Neptune and Pisces. Now, as all of these energetics and themes square the galactic center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius, that is connected to Sagittarian themes. And those are many, as is the case for each astrological sign. And so when we're looking at it in terms of the galactic center, which is the center of our galaxy, of our little neighborhood here in the cosmos, and how the galactic center in Sagittarius then creates an energetic imprint that goes out to influence and really be a prime factor in the energetics of our galaxy, then we can understand more about what is showing up for us on this planet. Now, let me be more specific. When you think about Sagittarius, some of the key words that come up would be belief systems, ideologies, justice, wisdom, philosophy, legal and law issues. Sagittarius is about expanding ourselves, expanding our worldview and our viewpoints to take in more, to understand from multiple perspectives. Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign. Mutable is about many different options, choices, perspectives, remaining flexible and adaptable, remaining open to where you want to go. And that's also key with the fire signs, which are about motivation, growth, inspiration, feeling activated, ready to do something, ready to unleash your creative spark or to do something that drives you in a positive way. So when the galactic center is at this 27 degrees of Sagittarius point, it really brings in more of this focal point of energies onto our planet, onto Earth. And it's important to also step back and detach and try to see our planet from more of an objective viewpoint, which is that we have on our planet religion, belief systems, spiritual beliefs. Right? We've just accepted that. We've just said, okay, this is our planet. We have these different religions, cultures, ideologies. All of this composes our planet. All of this is part of what we experience at a human level. But if you were to think about Earth without religion, without ideologies or spiritual themes, how would that feel for you? It almost might seem incomprehensible that Earth would not have some of these very important themes that we've become accustomed to, that we've just accepted as part of our human experience. But Earth in other parallel universes that aren't connected to this galactic center at 27 degrees of Sagittarius would not have this same influence of Sagittarian ideals and energetics. The Sagittarius energy is also how we desire to learn through experiences, how we want to see something for ourselves, have our own experience that we move through body, mind, and soul, that we can discern if it resonates, if it's true for you, if it's in alignment with what you like or what you don't like. Sagittarius, not only is it about belief systems, but it's about opinions. All the opinions in the world, all the differing opinions, all the ways that we can have these contrasts and different perspectives, and how do we work on those fitting together? And if you look back on the history of this planet, we know that there have been so many various wars and conversations and discussions and energies tied up in our opinions, our belief systems, what we believe is right, what we believe is wrong. Those are also Sagittarian energies. Sagittarius is also about how we assess what is just, what is justice, what is fair. What is fair, especially as it relates to divine law and the universal spiritual laws. So Sagittarius holds a lot, and it's also very much an influential energy on our planet that we often have just accepted. We didn't think of it differently. It's just, again, part of our experience. So when we have Neptune in Pisces squaring that galactic center in Sagittarius, it's going to open up something that's ready to evolve for us collectively and individually. It's going to create a square which will dismantle, unravel, remove. Also, a square from Neptune and Pisces is one of confusion, not knowing what to believe, not knowing what the truth is, not knowing perhaps all the facts, all the details, all the information. Because that Neptune and Pisces will keep things foggy or hidden. It can even feel like, what am I supposed to think about this? What really feels right for me at a soul level? And so we're going to have some bigger questions come up as this Neptune and Pisces squares the galactic center starting in May 2023 until January 2025. And this is where that Neptune influence is going to be felt, and it could show up in any number of means across the full spectrum from healthy to unhealthy expressions. And it also is going to show us more about how we are really integrating our own wisdom, our own intuition. And I see it as this big expansion of our crown chakras, where humanity and the earth are becoming more intuitive, and they're becoming more open to energies, because that Neptune in Pisces dissolves density. It removes what is really tight or stuck together. It removes where we're attached, where we're leeches onto something, where we are overly focused or overly invested, and yet there hasn't been perhaps enough of that Pisces influence coming in. And so this Neptune in Pisces is going to ask us to detach, to release our grasp, to allow things to open up more density, open up anything that we've been locked into, especially belief systems, especially ideologies and philosophies, especially feeling like maybe you're lost in what you believe. Because this Neptune square, it brings up more questions than answers. It's kind of feeling like I'm just floating through life now, and everything I believed in, it really doesn't resonate as much anymore. And you can look at this even as something that has been unfolding on the planet as more and more people have identified as being spiritual instead of religious. That has certainly been an ongoing theme that I look at through the lens of Neptune and Pisces, and how the planet has shifted since 2011, with more people focused on meditation, focused on energetics and their intuition, focusing on what they can do for their spiritual path or what they're awakening to next. So these have been some of the beautiful manifestations of Neptune and Pisces. But now that it directly interacts with the galactic center, it's going to challenge and make things not as clear that maybe we previously accepted as certain or as the status quo. It's going to change our opinions, change what we thought about something. This can also be an opening into, I guess I don't know what to believe anymore, and I'm just open to whatever feels right. I also feel like this energy is going to be felt worldwide in the collective, with people asking bigger questions. And that is something that Pisces and Sagittarius have in common. In fact, both the Pisces and Sagittarius energies do have a rather nice affinity because they're both connected with spiritual growth and spiritual wisdom. Although Sagittarius is connected to it more at that fire sign level of the individual, of this is how I was raised, or this is my culture, this is how I've lived my life, this is what I'm going to do because this is what I was taught. And so Sagittarius is about what we were taught or told. It also brings in the influences we've had from people around us, what their ideologies are, what their belief systems are. It's about looking at right or wrong and what you were taught about that. And I think we're going to see all of that softening to a point of confusion where there could be some real moral, ethical issues that come up. There could be some things here that could seem so clear about what's right or wrong. But then when you have this Neptune influence, then the uncertainty comes in. And you're like, well, maybe we don't have all the information. Maybe we don't have the full story. And the details are not showing up and they're not documented. Or there could be things that go missing. That's what Neptune does. Neptune hides things. It removes it. It creates a sense of what happened to my keys, or what happened to what I've believed my whole life that now I don't feel like that is true for me anymore. So there's going to be something here that's going to ask us to unravel parts of our ego, parts of our identity, parts of what we thought was always going to be an absolute. So this certainly brings in dogma. This brings in what we have subscribed to that supports how we live our life. This brings in things that we always were passionate about. And because the Sagittarius energy has opinions, can be heavily opinionated. It can be righteousness. It can be a sense of big expectations, even a sense of knowing everything or presuming to know everything. Now, Neptune is going to say, not so fast. Actually, there's a bigger story or more energetics. There's more here that is going to open up, but we're not going to be able to see it fully. And so there's going to be more confusion on the planet. This can also bring in the influence of the Neptune and Pisces realms, which includes entertainment, escapism, what we do to take a break from reality, everything from the entertainment world, movies, Netflix, what you watch on TV, to video games, to music, to areas where we want to lose ourselves in our creativity. We want to disappear into other worlds, other realms. We're looking for ways to basically connect with our energy in other forms and other expressions. Well, this is going to highlight how is that working for us. Is it working for us, or is it taking us too far away from what we need to know or focus on or take care of? And this square can be, again, inconsistent, and it can even feel like at times the energy is stronger in Pisces or it's stronger in Sagittarius. And that can be one of the ways that a square works, especially when you're talking about these two significant points and planets, is that it can feel like it's all over here or it's all over there. There's very little balance. There isn't a lot of even flow. And because there's also a lack of grounding, there isn't a practical energy here. This is, again, intuitive, it's energetic, it's mystical. It's magical as well. These are magical energies. But in order to access them, we have to know exactly what we're accessing. So meaning we have to be very strong in our intention and also be committed to our boundaries. Similar to when you are interacting with your spirit guides, your angels, any type of support system you have in the other realms, you do have to be very clear about what you're calling in and what you're calling forth, where you establish the intention of, I only call in the highest possible beings of light. I only interact with those who are here to connect with my best and highest good. I only allow those who love, honor, cherish, and respect me into my space. So we are going to determine along the way what boundaries are needed. And when we work with those boundaries, that's where we can strengthen what we call in intuitively and what we work with. Otherwise, it can be all over the place. This can be an infusion of walk-ins. This can be an infusion of other spiritual energies and other entities from other planets, other parts of the cosmos coming on to the earth, coming into our solar system and looking to make waves or be tricksters or play with the energetics a bit. So there is going to be an up-leveling here of spiritual mastery in order to understand what you're connecting with, what you're interacting with, and ensuring that you have established the necessary boundaries, that you're only going to connect with any beings that are only showing up with your best and highest good in mind and with benevolent intentions. There can also be an increase in downloads, an increase in your intuition. There can be a sense of not feeling grounded. So this can also show up as the energetics of spiritual ascension turned up to 11 because of that Pisces and Sagittarius influence. Also, it can feel like it's just out of your control. It feels too big at times. It feels like the downloads, the transmissions, the information coming through can be really overwhelming or confusing. And so we're also going to need to be in our power in terms of what we receive, in our receptivity for the messages and for the energetics, because the energy, it can be so overpowering that it just knocks you out and you just feel exhausted. That's how Neptune and Pisces works as well, is that your body, which is this amazing energy vessel, is feeling so much, is taking in so much, and it can be too much for our physical self. Again, going back to how Neptune and Pisces dismantles density. Well, you think about the density that our body is, the density that we carry that's necessary to be in this physical body. Well, that Neptune and Pisces influence can just override it, and you can feel wiped out at times as well. And I think this is going to be part of what we feel as this Neptune and Pisces interacts with the Galactic Center in Sagittarius, is that part of the inconsistency is going to be the days when it's all too much and you just feel overwhelmed. It can even show up as all of a sudden feeling dehydrated and like you can't drink enough water, or that you're starving and you don't know why because you just ate a really big meal. It can feel too like your body is holding a lot of water, whether that is a feeling of being bloated or being expanded. It can feel like you're just carrying more water weight. It also looks like this can feel like more out-of-body experiences, where you could have more astral travel. You could have more things that you're doing in other realms, especially when you're dreaming or in a sleep state, and you actually come back with greater awareness about those realms or about those journeys. So there's energies here that are actually working with parts of our human density and opening us up to more downloads, more intuitive understandings, and yet it can all feel like a lot at times. And this would be working with you more personally if you have any planets or points of 27 degrees of the mutable signs. So 27 degrees Gemini, 27 degrees Virgo, 27 Sagittarius, or 27 Pisces. And I am going to keep it at that small of an orb, only that degree, because that's the degree of the galactic center, and that's the degree that Pisces is at as well. Neptune and Pisces, I mean. So there is those degree points that feel it the strongest. And this Neptune influence is going to be working with you and asking you to surrender, to let go, and to step away from what you thought you believed or what you thought was essential. This can be a big shift in opinions. This can be an opening up to a bigger perspective that you didn't realize, or you never thought you would choose, or you never thought you would be interested in. This energy is opening us, and that can be uncomfortable. The expansion can also feel too much. And like I said, it can knock you out where you're just exhausted and you don't have one clear reason why you're exhausted. That's just how you're feeling. That's just what your body is receiving. So as we move through this Neptune squaring the galactic center, I feel like we're also going to have some bigger overarching questions that come up. Bigger questions about our galaxy, about our solar system. Bigger questions about who our neighbors are in this solar system, who we're sharing space with, literally. Other beings that are here that we haven't connected with. And I feel like it's because of how our human dimension has been so dense that we haven't had the capability or the consciousness to connect with other beings, other energies, as we will in the coming years. So there's going to be some really interesting openings that can feel very confusing. I'm seeing a lot of time travel. I'm seeing people walking through one door and ending up somewhere else completely. I'm seeing the energetics show up as being transported almost effortlessly to some other places, other planets. And I feel this all happening through the ethers, where it's not something that feels as certain here in the physical, but it's something that we're experiencing and that humanity is moving into. So part of this aspect of this square is that it is evolving the planet, it's evolving our solar system, and it's evolving our human consciousness to see more of what we're capable of. So this also is going to dismantle spiritual hierarchies, religious hierarchies, anything that's too dense in those realms. Same with everything that Sagittarius rules. And so here on our planet, it rules legal and law. It rules publishing, it rules marketing and promotions and how you spread the word and get something out into the world. It rules organizations that come together through shared beliefs and cultural understandings. Sagittarius rules universities, higher education, where we go to keep gaining more wisdom and more information. It also rules long distance travel, other places on the planet that seem far away, that seem very distant, when in reality, there could be a sense of actually now it feels like it's right next door, or that culture, that language, that country isn't as far away as I thought. And so there's the energy of where we go to have new experiences, to take us beyond what we've previously learned or what we've previously come to understand, and to stay open to going further. So these are just some of the main themes here in the Sagittarius energy that Neptune and Pisces is going to be dismantling and challenging, is going to create confusion. And this is where we are meant to apply more of our intuition, more of what we're sensing is right or wrong, more of what we're sensing is off. And that could be something too that you are wrestling with at times, where you're understanding, okay, this information doesn't feel accurate, but I don't know why, or I don't have proof, or I'm not sure how it isn't adding up. It's just not adding up. It's just something I'm feeling. That's how this energy works. And getting back to that visual of the ocean waves hitting the shore and then taking sand from the beach back out into the water, that's part of this dissolving, slow removing. It's also the deprogramming and deconditioning that we are undergoing. And again, I feel this mostly through the belief systems on this planet, where our planet has been seeded with different ways of understanding different parts of our history, different parts of what the earth has been through. And as we go back into different ancient studies and we go back into ancient cultures and we continue to dig into what really happened here or what's really the full story, there's going to be confusion about the truth, about the facts, about the reality. And I'm feeling like when this influence is over, meaning when we're done with this Neptune and Pisces squaring the Galactic Center, we're going to have actually a bigger understanding of how all ancient cultures are galactic. They're connected to something much bigger that we haven't been taught or told, whether that was hidden by various religions, because I'm seeing that there are multiple people, entities, and groups that know more about the history of Earth than we've been taught or told. And that has been hidden for various means. And there's also various intentions, various agendas. But we're going to go back and back and back, and there's going to be new connections made between ancient cultures, ancient civilizations, and we're going to have more understanding of how they were connecting with galactic visitors, galactic entities, and more understandings of what that's really about, the bigger story, what we haven't known about these beings. In fact, a lot of this information is already unfolding. It's already coming up. It's a big part of what is being discovered as well in Antarctica. It's a big part of what's being discovered underneath the earth, and even the powerful correlations between all the pyramids on the planet. And not just the pyramids that we know that are famous, but the pyramids that are at the bottom of the ocean, the pyramids that appear to be hidden in mountains. I feel like we're going to be opening up to some really amazing stories that will blow people's minds and cause confusion. Also be something that people can't handle. And that's just part of the reality of human consciousness. There are always stories, there's always information that people will believe it's not true, it's not real, that's a lie. All of that is just kind of built into our human experience, especially right now. So it's almost like pick a topic, any topic, and you will get all kinds of opinions, right? You'll get all kinds of feedback, all kinds of perspectives. That's part of our melting pot of the human experience. And I think that this particular transit is going to create more confusion. It's perhaps even going to bring up some really big lies, some very big untruths. There will be things that, again, it's just not going to feel right, and you don't know why, and you don't have the facts to prove it otherwise, but you just sense that it's off. Whenever we have a Neptune transit, it's playing a long game, because Neptune transits work for a minimum of 18 months. A year and a half is typical, and often it's longer. So it's just riding these waves, not being attached to anything, not being overly attached even to one particular perspective or opinion or perception, because that can change. So it's a very floaty, uncertain energy. And it's actually going to be the most challenging for planets or points in Virgo and Gemini, because both Gemini and Virgo are connected with the mind, data, details, specifics. Show me what you're talking about. Show me the details. How is this possible? How did this happen? These are the two astrological signs that ask specific point blank questions. They want to see it. They want to understand it. They want to think about it. But these two energies of Sagittarius and Pisces don't care about that at all. It's not about anything that the human mind has to understand. It's not about making a list, checking it twice, and ensuring that all the data adds up. No, Sagittarius and Pisces are creative, intuitive. They want to see the magic and feel the energy, and let's go out and I just want to sense what's happening, and I'll know what's real for me based on the energetics. I don't care about an Excel document. I don't care about all the questions you have to ask. I'm not bothered by that. I just want to be in the flow. I just want to feel the energy and have this experience. So it's interesting how even though it's a square between Sagittarius and Pisces, again, there's a nice affinity between the two. They're also related to Jupiter, as Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter and Pisces was formerly ruled by Jupiter before Neptune was discovered. And so there is a desire for that growth and expansion, to know more, to understand more, to just move through it and to not overthink it. So that's part of how it's evolving us collectively and individually, is that when you think about how much we rely on our minds and how we're taught from a young age when we start school that it's all about thinking about things and taking tests, right? And looking at the science and the specifics, and how in school we do so much that is meant to develop and grow our brains, to use our minds, to keep them active, to keep them learning and engaged. This energy is not about that. This energy is about your intuitive self, your spiritual self, everything else that composes you, that wants you to keep flourishing and growing in ways that can be very difficult for the mind to understand. Also, this can feel at times like you're going crazy, almost like you just don't know anymore. And that's what this energy signature is. It's a sense of not knowing. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to believe. It's very confusing. Who is telling me the truth? Who is lying to me? And we're going to see that come up even more, where there's going to be things that will paint a certain picture or appear to be a certain way, and it's all a mirage. It's all a mirage. So that is part of this energy dance. And it's also where we're going to see things leaving the planet. We're going to see more things disintegrate, dissolve, fall down, fall apart, especially related to those Sagittarius themes that I just mentioned. If it no longer serves a purpose, if it's no longer evolving. Keep in mind, these are the mutable signs. Mutable signs are about flexibility, adapting to change, being open to possibilities. So we have to stay open and not locked in to, it has to look like this, it has to be this way. This energy is actually going to open things up, bring in more light, remove the density, perhaps create more confusion. We're going to be aware of propaganda, of what's being propped up, of what is an illusion, what is a mirage, what isn't real. It's going to be a lot that is also further highlighting how our crown chakras can grow and expand, and how we can continue to trust what we're sensing, trust what we're feeling in a way that even if the mind doubts it or challenges it, that's basically what this is. And you could feel it between different parts of yourself where you're like, okay, I'm sensing this, my intuition says this, I'm feeling this, and my mind is on a completely different page or has a different understanding, a different plan. And to be honest, some people are going to excel at this. Some people are going to love it. They're like, yes, this is my game. This is how I'm made. This is me. And other people are going to have a really, really hard time with it. And then you'll have the full spectrum, including those in the middle and those who are willing to learn or willing to try and willing to do it differently. I think that it will be an opening into more creativity, into more downloads, almost like you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh my goodness, I've got it. I understand the bigger picture of something in my life or the bigger plan. I don't know how to get there. I'm not sure of each step to take, but I sense it and I feel it. And it's coming through in a way that I absolutely trust. So this Neptune in Pisces squaring the Galactic Center in Sagittarius is going to be an interesting ride, a spiritual ride. Now, when we look at how this is happening at 27 degrees, well, we have coming up in the next few years, Neptune entering Aries. And we're also going to see Saturn in Pisces coming up to square the Galactic Center as well, and dance with Pisces energies that Neptune has been covering. So we will see both Neptune and Saturn move into Aries together, and that will be a spiritual rebirth. That will be a renaissance of a new beginning. That will be a time of new starts and a grand cycle beginning on the planet because of Neptune and Aries. So that's to come in a few years, but before we get there, we have to look at what needs to be removed, what is done on the planet, what is ready to be taken to off-planetary locations and sites. That's also something that's going to be happening even more. That's already something that has been part of some ongoing experiments, is how density moves between different dimensions and different realms. That's also part of what we are learning to understand. That, again, doesn't fit into our human comprehension at times. So this is a rather big energy, and I will revisit this topic as we move through this experience. This is a once-in-a-lifetime energy. In fact, we've never had this in our lifetime before. And that's pretty much the name of the game with these transits from the past number of years, is how rare they are, how significant they are from the whole timeline of astrological energies. Is that time after time we keep saying, this is rare, this is once in a lifetime, this is never going to happen again. So all of that continues to tell us what an amazing time it is to be on this planet, that we are on a big ride. There is no turning back. There is no going back to how things were or to what we knew. We are moving into new energetics, into new parts of ourselves and new understandings of who we are, just as the solar system is evolving as well. The solar system, all the planets and moons and asteroids and everything that is in this time, space, and beyond continuum is also evolving and becoming new energetic expressions as well. So yes, very big things happening, and we are feeling it, we are sensing it, and I hope that this information at least gives you some understanding of what's going on. I will be back every Wednesday and Monday for a new podcast episode where we will continue our discussion on these astrological topics and themes. As always, thank you so much for joining me and being here. I greatly appreciate your time, energy, and presence, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. You can check out my website at mollymccord.online for more information on my current programs, courses, and offerings, and of course, intending that something supports you in knowing your own energy even more. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to connecting with you again very soon, and take good care as this wild journey continues to unfold.